Alright all, and welcome back to the Day 5 preview of Royal Ascot for 2020 and the last day of the previews for this year, which obviously is a bit disappointing. I must confess I've really enjoyed doing these regularly after racing each day, and they've calmed down very well with you guys, hopefully anyway, so I'm very glad that all of you guys do seem to be enjoying them, and hopefully we can keep this going with maybe festivals like Goodwood and stuff over the summer to keep interaction going, and also obviously probably weekend videos for the weekend racing. In terms of Day 4, Royal Ascot again, it was okay. I just about kind of got away with things. My nap of the day, our power supplied the goods in the opener at 9 to 4, and when your nap goes in the first, you really hope it might be a big day. It didn't quite turn out that way. Mother Earth was a bit unlucky, I thought, actually, in the 2-year-old fillies race. But no excuses for a lot of the rest of them. Pier was almost stopped to a walk in the Carnation Cup, which was obviously a big shame. And Indianapolis did manage to place for us at 14 to 1, so we had a very nice finish to the day with a 14 to 1 place and a very good start to the day. The 5 races in between, probably best not to discuss too much. I'm sure a few of you guys did enjoy that. Did back a couple of winners. I saw from the comments a few of you backed the Lear Jet and stuff like that. So if you had a good day, do let me know. Well done to you all. And hopefully going into Day 5 now, 8 races, and hopefully we can get another 1 or 2 winners to add to the list. It's been a solid enough week. It hasn't been spectacular, let's be honest with ourselves, but it's been solid. I've got through. I'm down a little bit for the week, but not by much, which, to be honest, for a week of Royal Ascot, considering I'm a jumps racing fan more, isn't too bad for my standards. But moving on to Day 5, and we start off with the 1240, which is the Silver Wokingham for horses that didn't get into the Wokingham. And I am going to back Swindler in this race. He's drifted out to a mark of 13 to 2 now, this gelded son of Invincible Spirit. I've been looking to back Swindler all week, to be honest. Would I want the ground to be better than it is? Yes. Is it a concern he hasn't run on anything kind of less than good? Yes, it is. I think that's being relayed in his price. He was 5 to 1 for the majority of the week. As I say, he's now 13 to 2. But you can't get away from his 2 Ascot wins last year, where he won off a mark of 82 and he won off a mark of 90 later in the season. He absolutely adores this track. He's an odd horse. Like, he's a very temperamental horse. They have to walk him down very slowly, and he comes from well off the pace, and that didn't go to plan at Newmarket on his reappearance off a mark of 96, where he just didn't quite get into the race from the back, kind of plugged on to finish 5th. I'm hoping that he might have just needed that. He remains off a marker 96 here. Andrea Azzini takes the ride for Ed Walker, and he should go well. I think I'm just about going to put him up with an each-way selection. 13 to 2 wouldn't be my idea of a brilliant each-way bet, to be honest, but I really do hope this horse can be in the first 5 or 6. I do like the horse. I have been wanting to back him, and therefore I am going to just let it fly that the ground is obviously a little bit of an inconvenience for Swindler. The 115 is the 5 furlong Queen Mary for 2-year-old fillies. It's obviously been a bit of a bloodbath for me, especially with these 2-year-old races this week. I haven't gotten top nor tail of them, but I'm going to take a chance here. Well, not take a chance. I'm going to back the favourite, More Beautiful, 13 to 8 with Bet365, 6 to 4 mostly across the board. This Warfront filly ran in the first fillies maiden back after quarantine stopped racing in Ireland at Naas, where she discarded of a Jessica Harrington filly called Rose's Blue really impressively by 3.5 lengths, and I really liked Rose's Blue that day, and Rose's Blue I think is held in pretty high regard. That was seriously impressive. She looks a very good filly. As I say, these 2-year-old races are very hard to predict at the moment. Will she go on the ground? I'm not so sure, but she's a very worthy favourite based on what she's achieved. She's achieved by far the most out of all these runners, and hopefully O'Brien can get his second 2-year-old winner of the week in More Beautiful. The 150 is the Coventry over 6 furlongs. There's another Aidan O'Brien shorty in this, Admiral Nelson, who was very impressive at the Curragh only last week. when discarding of a stablemate that I'd backed. I think Merchant's Key was his name. He is a massive horse, as you may have seen from a few photos on Twitter that did the rounds. He is an absolute beast of a horse. He could be an absolute beast of a horse in general. I won't be backing him tomorrow, though. He's out of an Exceed and Excel mare, and I think these Exceed and Excel horses, just on this ground, I'm a bit temperamental backing them, and we'll talk about this later with Sceptical. But obviously I have Heaven. It was an Exceed and Excel horse today, ran absolutely no race, bombed out completely, and I am just a bit concerned that may run in Admiral Nelson's kind of veins almost, and that this slightly good to soft ground mightn't really be what he wants. It was good to firm and pretty rattling good to firm at the Curragh last week, and he's reappearing very quickly. Instead, I'm going to take an each way angle into the race, so therefore if Admiral Nelson is far too good, then fair enough, we might collect in second or third, and I'm going to put up Lauded for Tom Dascombe and Richard Kingscott. He's between the 8 and 10 to 1 mark. Son of Acclamation won a Haydock novice on this ground, good to soft ground, by 4.5 lengths. Now, the big problem with this race is that I'm not so sure what he beat there. The form is completely untested. It could have been a complete egg and spoon race for all we really know, but he couldn't have done it any easier, and he's since been bought by Al Shakab Racing. He's still in training with Tom Dascombe, which I always love to see, that when a big owner comes in, they don't move him on to a different trainer. But I think this horse potentially could be very good. We had one like this the other day with First Profit that I put up at 8 to 1 and ended up going off 7 to 2 and came last. But the money was there, so it was kind of a bit strange. It wouldn't surprise me if money comes for this horse at an each way price, and therefore I think the 8 10 to 1 is freely available with a few bookmakers. I think it's not the worst each way price in the world. As I say, it covers us if Admiral Nelson is a really, really good horse. It does cover us, and if he isn't as good, or the Exceed and Excel thing does kick in, we have an each way chance of winning here. The 225 is the Carnation Stakes, a mile fillies race for 3-year-olds. I've banged on enough times about Alpine Star. I'm certainly not going to be deserting her now. Probably the big issue with her is she hasn't run for so long, and therefore, yes, is there a chance that this race kind of almost will be needed in her progression? Probably so, but Frankie is booked. She won the Debutante Stakes last time out at the back end of her 2-year-old career, and also her Galway maiden win was beating a horse called Santiago by 3.5 lengths at Galway, who ran away with the Queen's Vase today. I think she's a seriously good filly. She's 7 to 2, best price. Quadrilateral, big danger, obviously is a big danger. Wouldn't be as concerned by Run Wild. I'll probably regret saying that, but I wouldn't be quite as concerned by her. Quadrilateral is a big danger, but I thought she still needs a trip, and therefore hopefully Alpine Star might do her for a bit of tow. It'd be great if one of these Jesse Harrington fillies could really supply the goods in one of these big races, and I'll be going in at 7 to 2. The 3 o'clock is the St James's Palace Stakes, a Group 1. For 3-year-olds, and obviously probably one of the biggest talking races of the week because it's Pinatubo back. He's running against Wichita. That Guinea's form is going to be put on the line, but I'm not going to back either of them, to be honest. I'm going to put up Palace Pier here at 4 to 1. He's a horse I just really, really like, and I've no idea why, to be honest. I'm not usually a massive fan of kind of the sexy Gosden and Dettori horse, but I just really loved what this horse did at Newcastle. He beat a horse called Acquitted that absolutely bombed out in a handicap earlier in the week, but hated the ground seemingly, and also something must have been wrong because he was beaten, half mile into the race. So I wouldn't look into that too much. Obviously, he has to improve heaps, and I'm not for 1 second going to disguise that. The Guinea's form in the book is a lot better than winning a Newcastle handicap on the same day. But this horse, he just reminds me a little bit of Too Darn Hot. Even the way they campaigned him last year with the 2 Sandown runs. I thought obviously something went wrong right at the end of his 2-year-old season, which prevented him running in either the Dewhurst or even the Champagne maybe or something. So that's taken away a bit of gloss from his career at the moment. But hopefully he can be the one that can really spring. He's a son of Kingman. Kingman's progeny go decent enough. They can handle a little bit of dig in the ground, so this horse should be all right on it. I just don't know about Pinatubo. I certainly have my doubts about him. Well willing to be proved wrong. I don't know what you guys think about Pinatubo, but I couldn't be backing him tomorrow, I must confess. Over a mile, certainly. I just not sure he's really going to get it, but that could be. I could be proved wrong there, but I'm taking the play on Palace Pier at 4-1. The 335 is the Diamond Jubilee Stakes. Now, this is another one of these ones. It's a bit like Anthony Van Dyke. And I was proved kind of right with Anthony Van Dyke today. Although he didn't run as bad as I thought he would. Well, no, that's a very bad thing to say. I thought he would have actually been really, really close if he'd gotten a gap turning into the straight. If he'd managed to get out past Defoe there, I think he would have come second at minimum. But that's neither here nor there. Sceptical, I am going to put him up, but I'm going to do exactly what I did with Anthony Van Dyke today. I'm going to put him up. He's an Exceeding Excel gelded horse for Dennis Hogan. It would be the greatest story of the week, to be honest, because they picked him up for absolute pennies, and he's not obviously from a completely fashionable yard or anything or big connections, but he's 3-1 now. I will be putting him up because I want to back him. I want to see him win. Do I think he's vulnerable? Yes, I think he's vulnerable on the ground. I think he is probably the best horse in the race based on, if you're looking at visuals anyway. The form of that Nace race probably isn't brilliant, but he couldn't have done it any easier. But what I'm going to do is put myself a little each way alternative like I did with Anthony Van Dyke and just missed out on the places with Hamish today. I'm going to put up Speak in Colours for Joseph O'Brien at 25-1. Now, this horse won a Group 3 on soft ground last year at the Curragh over 6 furlongs, so he handles the ground grand. Look, he's a bit short of Group 1 class on all known form, but I don't think this is a very deep Diamond Jubilee, to be honest. So it wouldn't surprise me if he ran a very good race. He was second only last week to Lancaster House, who's a very good horse for Aidan O'Brien, over 7 furlongs. He's always looked like 7 furlongs, it's just a little bit out of reach almost. So I think the return to 6 won't be the worst thing. But like a strongly kind of stamina-laden 6 is probably what he needs. He is short of the level. As I say, though, I think it's a weak enough Diamond Jubilee. And could he run into a place at 25s? Maybe. The 410 is the Wokingham itself, and I've taken a look at this race a bit like the way I looked at Art Power yesterday, or today. It might be yesterday if you're watching this on the Saturday, and I'm going to put up Bielsa. Now, putting up a 5-1 favourite for the Wokingham, probably you're looking at me going, what on earth are you doing, mate? Which is probably fair enough, but I really do like this horse. I think he's a fair price, actually. He's not a good price, but he's not a bad price at the same thing, if you get me there. For Kevin Ryan, Sylvester de Souza, he's 4 from 5. He bombed out in 1 handicap last year, but he won on heavy ground at Doncaster at the end of the season off 93. Couldn't have done it any easier, won by 2.5 lengths. He's now up off a race of 101, so he's gone up £8 for that effort. De Souza's on board for the first time, but as I say, I've just taken a bit of a view on this race that this horse could be a bit like Art Power, and he actually could be a very good horse, but it's just taken a while for things to click right with him, and therefore I'm just going to take that chance. He is a short enough price for a handicap of this nature, but I do like the horse, and hopefully he can go in. He also is very much ground versatile. And the 440, the last race on the card. Hopefully we can sign off with a winner in the lucky last, which is the Queen Alexandra Stakes over 2.5 or 2.5, I think. And I'm going to put up here the Grand Visir 7-2 for Ian Williams and Richard Kingscote. So hopefully Richard Kingscote will have ridden a double by the end of the day. He won the Ascot Stakes last year off a mark of 100. He comes in here off a rating of 102 and yet is getting £3 from some of the field. So the race conditions really do suit this son of Frankel, and he should go well. Yes, he's always looked a little bit, I don't know how to describe it, a little bit kind of almost awkward with the way he runs, but he had a bit of a kind of coming together of the day of destiny almost last year in the Ascot Stakes when he beat Bill Me Up Buttercup. That was kind of a coming of age day, and yes, he hasn't done much since then. He's tried hurdling a little bit, but he doesn't seem to take to hurdling as well. There's not that many sons of Frankel that are going over hurdles, to be fair. So I think he's just a bit slow, to be honest, and therefore this 2.5 miles should be right up his street. Who Dares Wins is obviously a big danger, but he doesn't win that many races, to be honest. The Grand Visir has the course and distance winning form from last year. I think he's just a slightly better play at the prices at 7-2, and hopefully we might have finished with a winner for Ian Williams. Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed the videos for the whole week. If you did so, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Always great to get any new subscribers on weeks like these. I hope you've enjoyed Royal Ascot. As I say, I hope you've enjoyed the coverage as well. Do let me know what you guys fancy for the last day, the Saturday card. 3 Group 1s. It's a very good card. Do you think Pinatubo can get back to his best? And obviously let me know how you managed to do today. Until next time, which I'm actually not sure when it will be. Maybe it'll be covering the Irish Derby next weekend, perhaps. If the demand is there, I might do that. But I'll hopefully see you guys sometime soon. Until then, do land a few bets, do keep safe, and I will see you guys then. Cheers.